Hello, we're reading from this text. It's a text. You believe I was working in a high school and there was another little school inside and they were throwing this away. And I said, hey, I'll take that. Slavery in America. It was brand new when I got it too. So we were in a mostly predominantly black high school and no one had taught it from it or read it. So now you get the benefit. Black scholars, we have to take things out the trash. We have to get things for $1. That's the way it is. I was hoping that out of this Black Lives Matter thing, black people would care more about scholarship, but it doesn't look like it's working out that way. Um, my numbers are still basically the same. What we what we're reading from is a, a section from a book, and this section is called "The Slave Life Cycle," Alan Kulikoff. And let's continue. Even though this forced separation of husbands from wives and children from parents tore slave families apart, slaves managed to create kinship networks from this destruction. Slave society was characterized by hundreds of connected and interlocking kinship networks that stretched across many plantations. A slave who wanted to run away would find kinfolk, friends of kinfolk, or kinfolk of friends along his route, willing to harbor him for a while. As kinship networks among African Americans or Afro American slaves grew ever larger, the proportion of runaways who were harbored for significant periods of time on slave quarters seemed to have increased in both Maryland and Virginia. There were three different reasons for slaves to use this underground. The first reason, some blacks, like Harry, who left his master in 1779, stayed in the neighborhood for a few weeks and then took off for Philadelphia, used their friends and kinfolk's hospitality to reach freedom. The second reason, others wanted to visit. About 27% of all runaways from southern Maryland mentioned in newspaper advertisements from 1745 to 1779, and 54% of all those whose destinations were described by masters ran away to visit. For example, Page traveled back and forth between Piscataway and South River in 1749, a distance of about 40 miles, and was not caught. He must have received help from many quarters along his route. And in 1756, Kate, 30 years old, ran away from her master, who lived near Georgetown on the Potomac. She went to South River, about 30 miles distance, where she had formerly lived. Friends concealed her there. Her master feared that since she had been a great rambler and is well known in Calvert and Anne Arundel counties, besides other parts of the country, Kate would indulge herself a little in visiting her old acquaintance, but spend most of her time with her husband at West River. The third reason, indeed, 9% of the Southern Maryland runaways left masters to join their spouses. Sue and her child Jim, 18 months old, went to Allen's freshest to Port Tobacco, Charles County, a distance of about 10 miles, to go and see her husband. Sam, aged 30, lived about 30 miles from his wife in Bryantown, Charles County, when he visited her in 1755. Will had to go more than 100 miles from Charles to Frederick County to visit his wife because her master had taken her from Will's neighborhood to a distant quarter. And that's it. That's the end of the slave life cycle. Nice. I like the fact that black people stuck together. I love that. And that they were so unified. The scary part is that people may say, well, Tim, Maybe this is where y'all should be. Maybe y'all should be Underhill. And of course, the answer to that is we've been enslaved our whole life. We still don't have control of our lives today. We can come and go as we please within reason, um, provided we have the resources to do so, or that kind of thing. But um, and that hasn't worked out for us the last 50 years. The last 50 years is the only time that black people in the United States have had no sense of community, no sense of cohesion. Okay, whenever you see a community and the only thing they could do is celebrate weddings, funerals, proms, graduations, birthdays, whenever you see a situation that's all they can do, that community is no good. It's in shambles. It doesn't. For example, a lot of people celebrated graduations this year. It's fine. Um, During the pandemic, they still celebrated. I saw graduation balloons. I saw graduation this. I saw graduation Zooms. I saw all that stuff. Nobody. I don't know any black people. I'm sure there were some, but I didn't see. I'm just taking in my neighborhood, my area. I didn't see any black people planning for how they were going to educate their children in the fall. So when it came time for schools to open, and some schools said we're not opening, parents didn't have the computers for their children. They didn't have the Wi-Fi needed. They didn't have any of those things. And I said to my wife, well, why aren't they all summer? I said, well, why aren't they going to the state, going to the Department of Ed, getting what they need? No, nothing. No, nothing. And so when you see a community like that that just has given up on itself, it's a problem. Thank goodness for the Black Lives Matter movement. Whatever you think about the organization, this movement, this bottoming out of this society, we are going to have to either do or die. And I know I'm doing. So I hope that others will do too. And I don't really have many resources at all. So it's it's just like that. And I want to thank you for your support. And until next time, take care of your mind, take care of your heart. Your heart. Well, your heart, yes, definitely your heart with this COVID and your lungs. Take care of your body and be safe.